Have you ever noticed that two people can face the same problem but react in completely different way? One complains, the other stays patient. Hi everyone, I'm Laila and today is a day 7 out of 10 days story shadowing challenge. Today's story is about a young Muslim man who learned that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can choose how we respond. So let's begin. Once upon a time, in a quiet village in India, lived a young man named Jane. Jane had a loving family and simple job at a local mill. From the outside, his life looked completely normal, but inside, he was always complaining. If the sun was too hot, he complained. If it rained, he complained. If his work was difficult, he complained. He often thought, why is my life so difficult? One afternoon, while sitting beside a river and complaining about his life, Zen met an old traveler. The traveler looked at him and said, "You look tired." Zen replied, "I have so many problems in my life." The old man looked at his empty hand and smiled, "But you are not carrying anything." Then he picked up a small stone. "Hold this in your hand." Zen held it. At first, it was easy. After 10 minutes, his arm began to hurt. Finally, he said, "My arm hurts because I have been holding it for too long." The old man smiled. "Exactly." Then he said, "Life itself is not always heavy. But when you carry anger, complaints and bitterness everywhere you go, even a small problem becomes heavy." Jane became silent. The old man continued, "You cannot control every test Allah sends you, but you can control how you respond to it." Those words stayed in Jane's heart. That night, Jane thought about his life. He realized that many of his problems were real, but his constant complaining was making them even heavier. The next morning, he decided to change. When the sun was hot, instead of complaining, he thought, "Alhamdulillah, Allah has given me another day." When his work became difficult, he reminded himself, "This work is helping me become much more stronger." And when it rained, instead of becoming angry, he simply said, "Alhamdulillah." Slowly, something changed. Not his feelings, not his job, and even not the weather. Jane changed internally. People began noticing that he was calmer and happier. A farmer offered him extra work. The village school asked him to help the younger children. Opportunities that he had never noticed before suddenly became visible. Why? Because he had changed the way he looked at life. One day, Zen remembered the old traveler's word. He finally understood. You may not control every situation, but you can control your response. Also remember that Allah tells us, "Indeed, Allah is with the patient." Surah Al-Baqarah. From that day forward, Jane stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, he began to asking, "How can I respond to this in a way that pleases Allah?" And that changed everything. So, what you can learn from this story? Life will not always be easy. You will face disappointment. You will face failure. You will face things we don't understand. But remember, a difficult situation does not always require a negative reaction. Have sabr when life is hard. Have shukr when life is good. Have tawakkul when you don't know what will happen next. You cannot choose every test, but you can choose your response. So, the next time something goes wrong, pause before complaining. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I respond better? And most importantly, how can I remain close to Allah through this? Because sometimes you don't need to change your entire life. You just need to change the way we face it.